Morning, McLaughlin. Got early, ain't you?
Good morning, Miller. Gus and I have been looking for coyotes.
Coyotes around here?
Big fire on the other side of the ridge drove them over here. We set traps all around the north section. You mind if we set some on your side of the line?
Go ahead. Glad to have you do it. Got no traps myself. I can't afford them. Hey. Best Rhode Island roosters, half my flock. The coyotes come and kill them.
Oh, Hank, everything you worked for.
Haven't you got a watchdog?
We got a dog, but he ain't no watchdog. Old Danny, he ain't much of anything.
He is, too.
Look at him.
Danny's a good dog. It isn't his fault. Trouble is, you're always picking on him.
Betty, you shouldn't talk that way to your uncle.
Sorry about your loss, Miller.
I knew something like this would happen with that old good-for-nothing dog.
Well, I never told you not to get another one.
Well, we can't afford to keep 2 dogs. Having enough trouble feeding ourselves the way things are going. I'm telling you for the last time, Martha, we're going to get rid of that Danny.
You can't get rid of him. He belongs to me. You don't like him because my father gave him to me. I wish we'd never come here to live with you.
You got no call to be saying that.
Oh, can't you two try to get along? Hank, what are you going to do?
I'm getting my shotgun.
You can't. You can't. I won't let you.
Betty. No, Hank, please don't do it. I'll get rid of the dog today, I promise.
All right. But he'd better be gone by the time I get back.
Mom, what are you going to do?
No harm's going to come to Danny.
You promise?
Yes, I promise. I'll think of something.
Don't worry, Danny. Wish Uncle Hank was like you.
He does the best he can. We should be thankful for the home he's given us.
Ready for school, Betty? Right quick, Ken. I've got my book. Hello, Mrs. Jepson. Hi, Danny.
It's so nice of you to ride Betty into school.
Flicka doesn't mind. Why should I? Hurry up, Betty.
Well, you look mighty pleased about something.
I am.
Is it a secret?
The Ladies' Club nominated me for president of the school committee.
Well, that's great. Who's your opposition?
Mrs. Peabody?
Oh, then I think you've been easy, missus.
You better. Mrs. Peabody will make life miserable for the teacher and the kids.
Oh, she's not that bad. Just overly officious.
Don't be too kind to your opposition. You'll never make a good politician.
Whoa.
Hello, Mrs. Jepson. It's nice to see you.
Afternoon, Mrs. McLaughlin. Mr. McLaughlin.
Mrs. Jepson?
Well, I've come to ask a favor of you. I just didn't know who else to go to. It's about old Danny there. My brother Hank, well, we've been having trouble over the dog.
I know. My husband told me.
Hank said he'd put him away if I didn't get rid of him. My little girl Betty'd be just so upset if... Well, I was wondering if you could see your way clear to keep him here for a while.
Well,
Rob, I think it'll be all right. We'll take care of him until you can work things out.
Oh, I'd just be so grateful to you, and my girl Betty would be, too. Danny means an awful lot to her. You see, her father gave him to her. She even called Danny after her father.
Well, you tell Betty that she can come over and visit him anytime she likes.
Oh, I'm obliged to both of you. Come on, Danny. Well, I guess I'd better be getting back. Thank you.
You'll be all right.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Bye.
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 Yes.
I hope this doesn't get us involved in their family squabbles.
dog anymore. I gave him to some Indians over at the reservation. They were very glad to get him.
Good. Now maybe things will be different around here.
Danny. Come on. He looks half starved, Flicka. Maybe Betty won't be so worried when she finds out we're taking care of him. Kid! He ran all the way. It's time to see Daddy. He'll do fine here. Benny T will make a new dog of him. No, I need wonderful help, too.
Hello, Betty. Look what I've got for Danny.
Oh.
I talked to Danny might
He can have it for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah. Or maybe for dessert.
I thought Danny would like this nice soup bone here.
Here you are, Flicka. You aren't going to be left out. Just like a welcome party. And he knows it, too. Oh, Uncle Hank doesn't know that Danny's here. Please don't tell him. Ma told him the Indians took him.
The Indians? I'm beginning to understand what's wrong at Hank Miller's place. He provides a home for Mrs. Jepson and Betty, and they take sides against him. Fine situation.
A situation we're not going to get into.
Sure can't stand that new dog Uncle Hank got. He named him King. You shouldn't take it out on him, Betty. It's not his fault. Daddy.
Betty, you're soaking wet. You better come in the house and get dry.
All right, ma'am. What are we gonna do with them? Let them stay dirty. They like it better that way.
Here you are, Betty.
Thank you, Mrs. McLaughlin. Sure like it here, ma'am.
How are things at home now that Danny's gone?
Not much different. Uncles aren't the same as fathers. My father used to play with me and bring me presents and things. Wish he hadn't gone off and left us.
Sit down, dear. Your uncle is taking care of you the same as a father would.
But anyway, it isn't the same as a real father.
Are you being good to him? Are you being loving and kind as you should?
I try to be to my mother.
Perhaps if you showed your uncle that you liked him, he'd be kinder to you.
He hasn't been so mean since Danny's been gone.
Then why don't you act nicer to him? Maybe if you showed him you were trying, he'd let you bring Danny home again.
He'd never do that. He hates Danny, something awful.
Betty, we're going to take your mother a present.
You're taking Danny over to your place and letting Betty come over and see him all the time. I hated lying to Hank, but I didn't know what else to do.
Well, as long as you got rid of him, I don't see what difference it makes.
If Uncle Hank knew that Danny was so close and able to come back, he'd be awful mad.
Hank just doesn't ever want to see that dog again.
Don't you know why?
Well, I guess it's because Danny's so old and worthless.
No, Mrs. Jepson. You and Betty have made him jealous of Danny.
You got it all wrong, Miss McLaughlin. I ain't jealous of that old hound.
Not of the dog, but what he represents.
I'll thank you to take care of your family and let me handle mine.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
That's the way I feel. You tried to make a fool out of me, you and your daughter. Lying to me about that no-good, worthless dog and dragging strangers into things that don't concern them. That's the thanks I get for making a home for you.
Dear, things are worse than they were before.
Well, I thought you'd be back long before this.
Well, we were detained in town. Defending you.
Defending me?
It's Betty's uncle.
Seems he's been telling everybody that you've been interfering in his family affairs.
He said that?
Yes. And your rival, Mrs. Peabody, has picked up where Jepson left off. She says he's right, and that your interference proves you're not qualified to act as president of the committee.
Oh, I see. Does that come under the heading of dirty politics?
Well, you can call it what you like. But we're going to wash our hands of this situation as of right now. Now, can you get Danny and take him over to the Jepson place?
Oh, Rob, no.
He'll shoot Danny.
Well, that's where you're wrong. With all this talking he's been doing about you, we wouldn't dare harm the dog. You go ahead and take him over there, Ken.
Yes, sir. Danny! I had to bring Danny back, Betty. I was afraid this would happen. What'll I do? Dad says your uncle won't harm him, and Dad knows what he's talking about. I have to go now, Betty. See you in school tomorrow. Danny, what'll I do? You can't stay here.
Well, this is today's the big day, huh?
You look real pretty, Mom. Lots better than that busy Mrs. Peabody.
Thank you, dear. But the election won't be won on looks.
If it were, you'd win in a walk.
We're in deep trouble, Mr. McLaughlin.
Well, what kind of trouble?
Betty, she's gone. We found this note in her bunk when we got up this morning.
Dear Ma, Ken brought Danny back, and I know he can't stay here. So I'm going away with him forever. Goodbye, Betty.
She must have gone during the night. We've just looked all over, but we can't find her any place.
We'll help you find her, Mrs. Jepson.
Well, I know we haven't any right asking help from you. The way Hank's been blabbing off his mouth and all. But...
We'll get started looking right away. Nell, you'll have to drive into the meeting yourself.
I'm not going. I'll stay with Mrs. Jepson.
Guess you spread the word around to the other ranchers. Maybe someone's seen her.
Right away, Captain.
Ken, you can miss school today and help us.
Sure, Dad. Flicka will help find her.
I'll get you one of my horses, Miller.
Don't you worry, Martha. We'll find her.
Let's spread out from here. You take the Pine Ridge. I'll cover the Razorback. You get the canyons, Ken. If we don't find her, we'll meet back here.
All right, Dad.
Betty! Betty! Betty!
Betty! Betty! Betty! Jiminy Flicka. I sure wish she hadn't run away.
I thought it was her.
I wish you were right.
Your missus was sure right. She tried to tell me the truth, and I didn't have enough sense to listen to her. It wasn't the dog's fault. It was just that every time I heard his name, it reminded me of that no-good brother-in-law of mine and how bad he treated my sister.
I'm beginning to understand now why you acted the way you did.
I reckon I got a real job ahead of me to make Betty understand I love her. I mean to try.
I'm sure you will.
I guess I never rightly knew how Hank felt. He's a good man, Mrs. McLaughlin. He loves Betty almost like she was his very own. I guess he figured she ought to feel the same way about him. When he found out she'd run away, he just almost broke down.
Now, you mustn't torture yourself with the past. It's the future you have to look forward to.
If they find Betty,
You know they will.
This looks like a good place, Danny. Come on. It's awful scary in here. Guess it's better than sleeping outside. Danny! I can't get it open. I have to get help. Don't be afraid, Danny. I'll be back as quick as I can.
There's no use continuing the search in the dark. We'll get more help tomorrow and cover the whole area.
I guess that's the only thing we can do. We'd better get on home, Martha.
Have supper with us first.
Thanks, Miss McLaughlin, but I think we best go now.
Captain, they cover every inch within 10 miles of here. Nobody has seen her.
We're going to continue the search in the morning, Gus.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss McLaughlin.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I almost forget, Mrs. Last stop I make was the Peabody Ranch. Mrs. Peabody say I'm to tell you you was elected president at the meeting today.
Well, what do you say to that, honey?
I should be pleased, but somehow it doesn't seem very important now.
I think it's real important, Mom. I'm proud of you.
You go on and get some rest, Martha. I'll go out and search some more.
Up in the cave where we was hiding. And Ken, you gotta help me.
Well, sure, but where have you been? Your folks are...
There's no time now, Ken. Coyotes are all around there. They might kill him. Please help me. Let's go now.
You've caused enough trouble running away.
I know I have, but...
I gotta tell Mom and Dad you're here.
But we've gotta go now before the coyotes attack Danny.
Well, I shouldn't do this, but...
Uncle Hank's mule. Shot Danny. Shot Danny, I heard you.
Betty.
Danny. You didn't shoot him.
I shot the coyote. He was about to attack Danny.
I told you, Betty.
He loves you. He wouldn't hurt Danny. Ken told me, but I thought he was just making it up.
He told you the truth, Betty. Your Ma and I would like it if you and Danny would come on home.
All right, Uncle Hank. Let's go home.
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Miller. Well, Flicka, there they go. Danny's got Betty, and she's got her uncle. We'd better get out of here before they get us.